We are wandering in the desert. We are wandering in the desert. The desert is an uncomfortable place that challenges us. We are wandering in the desert. It's difficult to prepare for a sermon and focus on the readings when the news feed is flooded with words and images of another school shooting. And we continue to hear about these shootings, that we continue to endure racism, that we continue to endure oppression and hardship. And as we wander in the desert, I wonder if it will take 40 years, as it did with Moses, or if we might not find our ways out a little sooner. In a modern age with GPS and Google Maps, you'd think we'd have the edge. But it seems we're paralyzed trying to decide whether we should use Google Maps or Waze. It seems we're stuck in deliberation. And I wonder if part of the problem is that we have forgotten how to rely on God in prayer. In a modern age where we can fix a lot of the medical issues ourselves, in a modern age where information is readily available, in a modern age where things have become so much simpler, we often forget to rely on God and seek God's direction in prayer. So as we see the arguments formulating and the comments piling up in our feed, it's as if we're paralyzed when we need to be seeking direction. I suppose in some sense we are in good company. All the faithful people in the Scriptures do wander from time to time. Moses and Jesus most deliberately go out into the desert. Jesus to seek God's wisdom and favor, something he continues to remember to do throughout his ministry. And those who wandered with Moses were rewarded with a land of milk and honey and an abundant land. I suppose it's only natural that from time to time we forget to rely on God. But we need things like a season of Lent to recall the importance of prayer to us. It won't be easy. But I am confident that if we hold our struggles and the struggles of our society in prayer, that God will help provide direction. But it must begin with prayer. I imagine that we might even mess it up the first few times we try to solve the dilemmas that we are facing because they are big, they are entrenched, and they have plagued us for a very long time. I don't know about you, but I'm ready to mess up the first few tries in order to get started. We must start with prayer. We must pray for ourselves that we might be guided by the wisdom of God, that we might be guided by the Scriptures that have foretold of the stories of God's people seeking direction in ages past. We must pray for our community that we might stand united in our gospel call and in the sacraments that we receive, that we might be an example of God's love shining out from this hill in Dallas. We must pray for those whom oppose us. And not just that their hearts be changed, but that we might understand where they are coming from. Because it is only in understanding where they are coming from that we can truly find some consensus to move forward with a solution that will be meaningful and lasting. We must forego the easy peace of not speaking up for a lasting peace that exists in God. We must begin with prayer. And our voices must be heard as well as we stand with those who are oppressed, those who are fragile, those who are broken. But we must only speak when we are also ready to listen. So if we speak without listening, we have done nothing. We must pray for ourselves that we have ears to listen. We must pray for those who oppose us that they might be brave enough to share courageously, trusting that we have new ears and are eager to hear what they have to say so that we might move forward together. Jesus provides for us a fantastic example. He leads not with a sword or from a throne. He leads humbly, always seeking God's guidance in prayer, always erring on the side of love and grace, always ready to listen to someone in need, and even those who oppose him. Jesus provides for us an example. And as we have received the baptism of the church, I believe God calls each of us beloved. I believe that God sees Christ in us. And once we have made our prayer and are ready to listen, I hope that the words that we offer the world are a reflection of the Christ that we know from the gospel and have experienced in the receiving of the sacraments. I hope that what we say is something that we know that everybody in our community of faith might stand and say together, because in our unity, the love of God will be expressed and known in the world. We have wandered in the desert. Make your hearts and minds ready this season of Lent to seek God in prayer, that He might guide our words and our ears and our hearts to leave the impression of Christ that has been marked on our hearts, on the world around us, that we might be known by our love, our grace, and how well we reflect the image of Christ to others.